Welcome back to Tokenization AI. Jerry here with an update for you. Do me a favor, friends. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and comment down below. Now let's get into this. We're sitting at $3.01, trading within a range of $3 flat to $3.12. We're down about 4% on the hour. It seems to me that Rex Osprey ETF is having the similar effect that the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs had by dropping the price. We'll see where we go from here, but we could break below $3. X currently uses Stripe to pay content creators. Stripe holds around $2 billion of XLM. This is clear indication that X will use XLM through Stripe for X payments. X, Stripe, XLM. I don't talk much about XLM, but it will play a very important role in the new financial system. And I want to share something few have pieced together. In 2015 to 2017, when Singapore launched Project Ubin, exploring DLT for interbank settlement, I witnessed behind closed doors how Ripple and XRP was quietly referenced in technical materials. What I saw suggests much more at play than just an experiment. Ubin's public mandate, MAS, from the MOS website. Project Ubin is a collaborative project with the industries to explore the use of blockchain and distributed ledger technology for clearing and settlement. They published pilot phases testing tokenized asset settlement, fast cross-border messaging, and settlement finality using DLT. The source code release in 2017 added fuel. MOS and ABS released prototypes, Phase 2 of Ubin, on platforms like Corda, Hyperledger, and Quorum, including liquidity savings mechanisms. I reviewed those prototypes at my bank. The diagrams of liquidity savings, posting of settlement obligations via consensus ledger, and atomic netting were very similar to internal docs I'd seen from Ripple pilots, especially the way obligations were grouped and netted. Robbie Minone's 2018 speech, MOS governor, dropped more clues. He said Project Ubin demonstrated that banks could pay one another without going through MOS, using a blockchain-based digital representation of the Singapore dollar. Also highlighted settlement of tokenized assets when delivery versus payment, DVP. That is important. Ripple pilots did exactly that in lesser-known corridors. DBS's future of payments. Insights show the lineage. DBS public reports say Ubin was the launchpad for Partior, a payments and securities settlement network exploring multi-asset class use cases, DVP, tokenized assets, FX payments versus payment. These cases overlap perfectly with what I saw in NDAs. XRP used as a bridge or settlement asset in tokenized commodity or security settlement under regulatory guardrails. First-hand memory. A private briefing in London, late 2016, I was shown a presentation by Singapore's UK banking working group. They compared Ubin Phase 2 netting diagrams with RippleNet corridor demos. One slide labeled Atomic Settlement Nodes included a schematic nearly identical to XRPL's consensus order diagrams, except with MOS collaboration branding. None of this was public. So here's my thesis. Project Ubin was not just testing DLT. It was the front door for experimenting with exactly the architecture Ripple and XRP had been building. Atomic settlement, liquidity bridges, tokenization, identity, and settlement finality. They didn't name XRP in public Ubin materials, but the technical overlap and private briefings suggest ISPs, DBS, and Ripple Labs were coordinating under NDA. If this is true, what does it change? XRP Ledger stands out not merely as a payment innovation, but as a foundational piece for institutional DLT adoption in Southeast Asia. When regulators ask for RTGS 24/7, DVP settlement, and tokenized securities, XRPL structure matches more than any other public ledger. These experiments likely set precedent that Ripple can rely on for regulatory legitimacy. I will share redacted versions of those private slides. Clauses such as atomic netting, liquidity bridges under consensus protocol, tokenized security settlement, DVP, appear in places where people would not expect them. The public narrative, Singapore experiments with DLT. The private narrative, Singapore prepares with XRPL adjacent architecture that can scale globally, Lord Belgrave. And Grayscale's digital large cap fund is now Grayscale's CoinDesk Crypto 5 ETF and is launching today. This spot ETF delivers diversified exposure to crypto heavyweights, Ripple's XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Cardano. Key highlight, it's hitting the market within 24 hours of SEC approval. A lightning-fast pivot from the usual 3 to 6 month slog. Let's buckle up, people. And that pipsqueak Gary Gensler is back and gets wrecked on CNBC. Let's hear what they have to say.
They are reversing a lot of what you did. And how are you feeling about what they're doing now?
So I'm very proud of what we accomplished.
And the crypto community is ecstatic not to have you there anymore and to have him there. Looking back on it, do you think that was the right call?
Yes, I think.
Because look, now we have this like burgeoning industry and there's so much more innovation and leadership in the U.S.
And a lot more
crypto.
capital coming into it.
There may be more capital in terms of the interest in the public. The public is interested. I get that. But for investors,
You think this is dangerous, what they're doing?
Put aside Bitcoin, but most of the other tokens are not tied to any fundamentals. Like Warren Buffett would say, what are the goods? What are the revenues? What are they selling?
I don't even know why they put this guy on TV. He makes a fool of himself every single time, and you can tell he's bought and paid for. Breaking, XRP ETF passes 24 million in volume during the first 90 minutes. For context, it's 5 times more than any XRP futures ETFs did on day one, and it's only been 90 minutes. Massive liquidity coming to XRP. Comment down below and tell me what you guys think. Do you think this XRP ETF is going to send us to the moon, or do you think we'll crash out and crash down like Bitcoin and Ethereum did when they first got their ETF? Ripple partners with DBS and Franklin Templeton. Tokenization takes off on the XRP ledger. Global giants DBS Bank and Franklin Templeton just teamed up with Ripple to bring on-chain securities, stablecoin liquidity, and tokenized lending to the XRP ledger. This isn't theory, it's the start of institutional DeFi at scale. Let's break her down. The headline deal: Ripple signed an MOU with DBS, Singapore's largest bank, and Franklin Templeton's $1.6 trillion asset manager. DBS Digital Exchange will list Franklin Templeton's tokenized fund, SG Benji, and RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin. Yes, a bank, a fund giant, and Ripple are all going live together. How huge is this? For the first time, institutions can trade between yield-bearing tokens, SG Benji, and a stablecoin, RLUSD, in real time. Investors get returns without leaving the digital asset space. This is how Wall Street meets DeFi. The collateral game. DBS won't just list SG Benji. It will let clients use the tokens as collateral for lending. That means borrow cash with tokenized funds, repo agreements with DBS itself, custody plus compliance handled by the bank. Basically DeFi lending, but with a bank badge. XRP ledger at the core. Franklin Templeton will issue SG Benji on the XRP ledger. Why XRPL? High throughput, low fees, proven reliability. This isn't experimentation, it's validation of XRPL as the backbone of tokenized finance. Ripple's stablecoin role. RLUSD is the glue here. Provides instant settlement, dollar-backed liquidity for trades, already expanding into African markets. Now it's being hardwired into institutional trading. Ripple is quietly building a global settlement currency. The market context. Institutional appetite is exploding. 87% of funds say they'll allocate to digital assets by 2025. Tokenization is projected to hit 16 trillion plus in the next decade. DBS plus Franklin Templeton equals first movers. A real-world use case. Not just finance, Ripple stablecoin RLUSD is already being adopted elsewhere. Case in point, EV maker Timbo, subsidiary of Vivio Power, will accept RLUSD for vehicle payments. Stablecoin for banks, stablecoin for cars. The scandalous irony. The SEC fought Ripple for years, called XRP a security. Now global banks and asset managers are issuing regulated securities on XRPL, with Ripple stablecoin at the center. The world moved on, the SEC lost. The takeaway? This isn't hype, it's tokenization in action. Ripple just plugged XRP Ledger into a $1.6 trillion asset manager and Singapore's largest bank. Securities are moving on-chain, stablecoins are powering lending, and XRP Ledger is the rails. The tokenized future is here, and Ripple is driving it. While real-world asset tokenization will be dominated by a few players, the UK Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, has approved fewer than 10% of crypto firms seeking to operate, showing how strict its approval process is. Archax is one of the rare firms with FCA approval. Working with Ripple, it uses the XRP Ledger to tokenize and trade assets and proves XRP meets the FCA's highest regulatory standards. Such selective approvals put only a small group of trusted players in position to lead the RWA tokenization. Archax strengthens the XRPL status as a leading public blockchain for compliant institutional scale tokenization, documented down below. And that's what I like about Smoke's material. He always has the documents down below. And ONDO Finance's USDY is coming to Stellar Network. The recent addition of Centrifuge's own tokenized product solidifies XLM's position as a network for tokenized yields. And that's what I have for you folks. Until next time, stay savvy, stay stacking, and I'll catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and comment down below. And if you want more crypto deep dives, check out our videos right here on Crypto Meets AI. Thank you for watching. Remember to always do your own research. This is not financial advice.